to help reconstruct any losses that might occur through theft, fire, wind, or other damages for my insurance company. This is a view from the northwest of Ed's Petroleum Products Incorporated bulk plant on Northeast Railroad Street in Abingdon. The building in the foreground to the right is the warehouse for packaged goods, barrel goods, everything for resale. The building in the foreground to the left is the truck shop and tank wagon storage. The building in the center towards the rear is transport and trailer storage and office facilities. To the extreme right is the view of the liquid storage tank farm and loading dock. We're going to walk that direction now, taking some more views of those buildings and the liquid tank farm.
Okay.
This is the oldest building on the plant. It's the warehouse. We've just finished about 30 days ago putting a new roof on it. We went to a gable roof with new rafters, new plywood sheeting, and shingles to get away from the old flat roof that had given us lots of trouble with water leaks and constant repair and maintenance costs. We'll go inside and take a look at the inventory a little later on. We're going to take more views of the outside of the bulk plant facility. Okay, this is the liquid storage facility, approximately 100,000 gallons total. The two upright vertical tanks in the foreground are the newest tanks. They're installed in the late 70s. The one on the right is for no lead gasoline, regular grade. The one on the left is Premier diesel fuel, our two primary liquid products. Behind them are two more gasoline tanks, one for premium and one for mid-grade. There is a dual furnace oil tank for number 2 heating oil. There are two number 1 heating oil tanks and a K1 kerosene tank. The two tanks here in the foreground, our largest ones, hold a capacity of about 19,000 gallons. The others range from 10 to 15,000 each. The original facility was built in the late 20s by Amoco Oil Company when they owned the property. The vertical tank to the extreme left, the short one, was put in the early 70s when no lead gasoline was introduced to the country. And then we, Ed's Petroleum Products Inc., installed the two higher vertical tanks in the late 70s after we owned the property. We try to keep the steel storage tanks in good repair, have them sandblasted and repainted as required. We have rearranged the offloading piping in the foreground here. It used to come out in this angle to the street, and the insurance company wanted us to change it for safety measures to get it farther from the street when we're unloading with our transport. The transport sits here and the hoses connect to the offloading pipes in the foreground, and now they're back and protected away from the street. In the extreme right of this view is the liquid loading platform where the tank wagons load the liquid. It's equipped with an electrical bonding cable to stop any static electricity charge while loading. We have electric pumps. Everything is done according to code and in conduit and kept in good working order. In the next 30 days we'll be installing dead man switches, that is dead man valves, on the loading risers, so that in the event that somebody would have a physical problem or an accident and fall off the loading platform, all liquid pumping would automatically be stopped by these spring-loaded dead man valves. They'll be put on in the next 30 days. That was the only suggestion that Federated Insurance had for me on my last loss control report. As soon as we complete that project, I'll be sending notification to certify that that was done with Federated. We're going to walk on back between the warehouse and the loading facility now, the tank farm facility, and take another view of the transport storage and the other buildings. This building with the company sign on the front of it is our transport storage and office facility. It was built in the early 80s. It's a wick pole type building. We'll look on the inside later. It houses our semi-van trailer for picking up packaged goods and our liquid tank trailer for picking up liquid goods. The building is approximately 42 by 66 with two bypassing steel hanging doors, and then the office facility is built in the right hand portion of it. It'll be the left hand portion in this view. We'll go in the office facility later on too. Okay, swing on over to the left here. This building was built in the late 70s. The right hand 2/3 of it is tank wagon and trailer storage and shop equipment, that sort of thing. The door down there to the left, the hanging door, the 12 by 12 door, enters onto our shop repair floor. The shop is for our in-house repairs of the smaller trucks. We do our greasing and oil changing and in-house light repairs of all the fleet in that area. The shop building has no heat in it. It is equipped with electricity to run some of the shop equipment, but there's no heat because of the storage of the tank wagons. We'll go in that building after a while too. Okay, swing to the left and take a picture of the back of the warehouse now. These empty barrels on the ground are return drums. They don't have any product in them. They've been drained and are waiting to be returned to the manufacturer for credit when we pick up new product. Okay, you can shut it off. When you get down there, shut it down for a minute. I want to look through the viewfinder. Okay, these are the unloading pipes to take liquid from the transport to the storage tanks. The 3 tanks are liquid lines that go in with the various products, color-coded to reduce the possibility of mixing products to the wrong tanks. The yellow pipe with the cap that's higher than the other 3 is a vapor return line. We've equipped the plant, all 3 of the gasoline tanks, with vapor recovery for safety and also to reduce our losses of gasoline through evaporation. That tank, that pipe connects to the transport when we're pumping off to replace vapors back from the storage tanks to the space in the transport as it's pumped off. Everything is kept in good working order and maintained for the slightest possibility of drips or spills. Hoses and everything are replaced as required to also eliminate the possibilities of breaks and spills and problems that way. These wooden platforms have been rebuilt and are kept maintained with paint and any other maintenance. We rebuilt them about 2 years ago when we eliminated all the old catwalks that went through the tank farm area. All the grass and weeds are kept down to a minimum, and these platforms are necessary to turn the valves on and off. These valves are turned down every night for just a precaution against any spillage in case there would be a pipe failure. The loading platform where we load the liquid product, we have manufactured locking devices on all the valves to ensure there wouldn't be any product mix or product loss through somebody coming in and turning on the pumps. We'll take a walk over there and take a look at that loading platform now.
Yeah.
All the tanks, even though there are a relatively small number of employees that work with this tank farm area, all the tanks are labeled and numbered to ensure the least possibility of product mix or erroneous loading of the wrong product on our tank wagons. There are only 3 of us that actually load or unload product in or out of the plant. We haul all our own product and handle all our own products from Amoco Oil. No outside transportation or carriers are used. All the tanks are equipped with the gauges. I'll point them out here. These liquid level gauges are on all the tanks and kept in good working order, and they are placarded with maximum product level charts so that no time we'll try to pump a load of product into the tanks until they can hold that entire load. This tank down to the left, this small 300-gallon tank with the pipes going into either end, is a vapor sump. It's for the vapor recovery system. In the event that there's any liquid in the vapor lines or condensed in the tanks, when we're pumping off of the transport, that liquid is trapped in this tank rather than going back into our transport or contaminating the product. That was a suggestion from the EPA when we got suggestions on how to build a stage 1 vapor for the bulk plant. It's done according to their suggestions and codes. Okay, this is the liquid pumping platform where we load the tank wagons. Underneath the platform are the 220 volt electric pumps that load the product. They can be used through a manifold system to offload the transport in the event that the pump on the transport would be out of service. All products are manifolds so that they can be pumped each direction into the plant or onto the trucks. But at the same time, all liquid pipes are equipped with one-way check valves so that liquid cannot be pumped out of the tanks and onto a transport in the street they could just be pumped onto a tank wagon in this area. That way no product can be stolen unless it goes through this loading area here. That'd be difficult to do too, because those steel boxes on the loading valves and on the electrical switches are kept locked at all times when we're not around the plant. Those boxes have been manufactured for us to eliminate the possibility of product mix or product spill or leaving an electric pump on that would burn up a motor and cause a problem. This area is protected by evening security lights, and the neighbors and the police in the area are alerted to watch out for anything out of the ordinary and call us if we have a problem. I'll walk up on the platform and point out those steel boxes where we padlock the valves and the switches now. This one is for the loading pipes. This one is the manifold for the oil, and this is the box for the electrical switches. I'll open this one up. These are the switches for the pumps. They're color coded, as are the pipes, so that we won't get a product mix whenever we're loading. Over here is our bonding cable that we connect to the tank wagons while we're loading to ensure that there's not a static electrical charge and cause an explosion. In this area is where the dead man valves will be installed, so that in the event we have an accident or a heart attack or something like that, as soon as the driver lets off of the pump line, those dead man switches will shut off the product. Okay. This is the packaged good warehouse. We store all the products for resale that are packaged in either cases or 5-gallon buckets or 120-pound cans. We maintain an inventory in here of approximately $50,000 at all times, but it varies from there downwards to 40 or upwards to, in peak seasons, up to 75,000 or more. These are products that the farm and industry uses. We supply other jobbers with them, and they're stored here to be delivered to those customers as they need them. We buy in quantity so that we can supply these other customers, and so we have to store in quantity. On the left here is the gear loops and automatic transmission fluids. Back in the corner is Amoco 1000, a primary product that we use for the farm. And on around the corner we move into motor oils, and on the right are cases of the same type of farm motor oils. Well, down here again.
Yeah.
Straight ahead, and we'll have other views of this, on the shelf are the same type of products, but they're products that we keep in smaller quantities, so we don't have them palletized on the floor. There are motor oils and gear lubes and some equipment for tanks and pumps for farmers, but it's all products that we keep smaller quantities of on hand. In the foreground down below then are what we call our half barrels. They're 33-gallon barrels. We have about 4 or 5 different farm grades of motor oil, and then there's more 1000 fluid on down to the end there. And we keep 25 to 30 of each variety of these oils on hand. This is the most popular quantity for farmers to use, this half barrel. It weighs about 275 pounds and it's easy to handle, so we keep these in quantity. Like I say, most of the time there will be 25 or 30 of each variety of motor oil, and that's usually 4 to 5 different weights of 300 series, 2 multi-grade series, and the 1000 fluid in the half drums. We also keep the shelves up there have some 4-1 cases. They're 4-gallon jugs in a case instead of quart jugs. They're gallon jugs. And then on the left here are more packages of 12-1 quart bottles for service station use. The service station oils are sold primarily to other jobbers and to the 2 service stations that we service. The half barrels are sold primarily to other jobbers and farmers as end users.
Got them looking at.
Okay, this is another view of the half drums. This video has been recorded on 9/15/90, and an exact price of what's here could be obtained in the office. We keep it constantly priced on the computer and on our records that are in a safe for safekeeping in case of fire or theft. There are 3 different places where these records are kept, and we could reconstruct the value of this warehouse at least twice a week all year round. In between times we'd have to add or subtract for receipts and sales. Okay, now to the right we're coming into whole drums. These are 55-gallon drums of the same motor oils, but also include industrial oils and industrial greases and lubricants for factories. There's also some available in these 120-pound cans that we keep for factories and other jobbers for resale. We also store antifreeze and a limited supply of Amasol naphtha cleaning solid. This building is not equipped with any electricity whatsoever. When we store petroleum chemicals in here, we just never thought it was a good idea to have any chance of electrical problems or sparks or fires. So we have to do this during the daytime, which accounts for some of the poor quality of the lighting in this portion of the video, because the only light we have available in here is what comes through the windows. Here's a better view of some more of the whole drums of industrial lubes, industrial oils, and some more of the farm oils in larger quantities, the 55-gallon drums. Okay, you can pan on around. This is a pallet of antifreeze. We keep it in gallon jugs. This can account for a lot of money, as antifreeze and ethylene glycol varies in price and can get pretty expensive almost overnight. Down on this portion of the shelving we keep grease tubes. We keep 5 different varieties for farm and industry in quantity. And like I said before, this warehouse varies in quantities up and down, but this is a pretty good average. In peak seasons, or in times when we've been warned that there might be spot product outages at the refinery, we have double-decked this whole area with half drums and drums to ensure that our customers don't run out. At these times, if there was a bad storm or a fire or tornado or anything, there could be a lot more product within these walls to be damaged or lost. Right now, this is about an average of what we normally keep in inventory here. And like I say, it can be priced, it can be matched up by date from our records in the office, as we'll see later. I think that's probably catching most of it.
Rudy's driving the transport out for us now so we can see their transport trailers. They haul their fuel in.
This is the company transport. The front part of it is a 1980 Freightliner tractor, purchased new, 1980. Actually, 1980. It pulls a 1986 Polar 3-compartment trailer that we bought new in 1986. The 3-compartment trailer, manufactured to MC306 specs for safety. It's all double bulkheads and was built to our specifications to meet all the most stringent safety requirements in 1986 when it was built. The tractor has 230,000 miles on it. We put them all on ourselves. We maintain the light maintenance here, greasing and changing oil, checking it over for problems. Any heavy maintenance is done either at Harper Sales and Service in Pekin or at Mutual Wheel Company in Monmouth. We've had very few problems with either end of it because we do run what we consider a good in-house maintenance check when we do our oil changes at every 2,000 miles. Come on down this way now. Let's go on around the trailer now. I want to point out a couple more things. Come on over here. Okay, the trailer, like I say, was built to MC306 specs. The 3 compartments come out in 4-inch lines and are reduced to 3-inch offloading adapters. They're all completely separate. At no time can any of the 3 compartments be mixed. So any time you haul a dissimilar load on the trailer, they can't become mixed because they never go through a manifold or a common pipe. It's also equipped with a Scully overload protector for bottom loading at the terminals. That was spec'd out by Amoco Oil as the safest system, so that's the one we went with. It has fire protected lead breakaway valves on the bottom. In the event of a fire, the breakaways will melt and shut the valves, keeping any product from being lost. It's also equipped with vapor recovery. Like I was talking when we drop at the bulk plant or pump off, these pipes, this one and one down here and a third one at the end, are all connected to the vapor recovery system. So vapors, to equalize vapors between the transport and the loading facility. The placards on the side of the tank are maintained in good recognizable order, and the certification dates in the upper right front corner are put on there according to when it was tested for pressure and vacuum certification. It's done in Pekin by Harper Sales, and the visual test on the lower there, that's done by us in-house here at Ed's Petroleum. And the little stickers below the placards are the certification by the state that they send us after we've had it pressure vacuum tested at Harper's each year. That'll be due again in October of 1990. The visual test has to be done every 2 years, and the pressure vacuum test has to be done every year. Copies of these test certifications are sent to the terminal and kept on record with our insurance company so that at all times we're in compliance with the loading rules at the terminal. Okay. This truck was in an earlier portion of the video. That's a 1985 GMC 7000. We bought the complete unit new in 1985 from Seneca Tank in Des Moines, Iowa. It consists of a GMC cab and chassis. It's a 2.5-ton variety of the correct specs to carry that tank, which is a 2,000-gallon Brownie 5-compartment steel tank. It has 5 compartments, 2 500s, a 400, and 2 300s. It's equipped for dual pumping to pump gasoline and distillate products at the same time, separate PTOs, dual LC meters, dual 2.5-inch pumps underneath, power takeoff driven, and dual electric reels with 1.5-inch hose and nozzles on each side in the back. We keep the trucks in good working order. We've always maintained them on steel belted radial tires for safety and long wear. This truck has about 65,000 miles on it. And like I say, it was bought new and always maintained in-house by Edge Petroleum. Whenever we have the paint redone, which this one's never been done since new, it's done with Imron paint in our own company image and company uniform lettering. Okay, this is a 1983 Chevrolet tank wagon. It's our backup tank wagon. We use it in peak seasons when the farmers are busy. The rest of the time it's just a backup unit. It's not used hard through the year. The truck has just a little over 40,000 miles on it because it's not used that much. We bought it new in '83, and it consists of a Chevrolet cab and chassis 60 series, which is about a 2-ton variety. The tank portion of it is a 1971 Brownie Galvanier 5-compartment steel tank. The total capacity of this tank is 1,500 gallons. It has a 400-gallon tank in the front, 2 300s, and 2 250s for a total of 1,500. It's equipped with dual Neptune meters, 1 2-inch for pumping fuel oils and 1.5 inch for pumping gasolines. It's equipped with 2 electric reels and dual power takeoff driven pumps. Here again we maintain it with steel belted radial tires for safety on the country roads and long wear. It's also been redone in Imron paint in our company image and corporate lettering. It's driven primarily by our backup drivers when we're in peak seasons, either myself or if Tim has to use it when the other truck is down for maintenance. Okay. This is the south end of the tank wagon storage building. We also use it for a shop for in-house maintenance. You're looking at the end that the truck 3 sits in, and we've got this is a Schuster gooseneck trailer that we use to deliver packaged goods to other jobbers and industrial accounts, deliver the barrels and the cases to those accounts as they need it. It's pulled by a pickup truck that I own personally, but leased to the business to be used in company work. We also store the lawnmowers and any of the shop maintenance equipment. This building is not equipped with any sort of open flame heat. We do have electricity for running some of the shop equipment, but everything was done in heavy gauge wire and done with safety in mind. And like I said, there's no heat because we do store the tank wagons in here, and we didn't want to have any problems with explosions or fires. So this is the south end of it. We'll walk through the building now. At the north end, we have about a third of this building covered with cement on the floor. That's the area where we do our in-house oil changing and grease jobs on the fleet. The cement enables us to roll around on a creeper and get under the trucks and really check them for leaks or needed repairs. We catch the problems when they're small and inexpensive and fix them ourselves if we can, or farm them out to a commercial shop if it's more than we can handle. Ahead there you can see an electric bench grinder and vise, heavy-duty workbench for our maintenance work. We keep the lawnmowers in here. To the left over here, we do have an air compressor for maintaining our air-operated shop equipment as well as inflating the tires as they need it. We've got a 225 amp Lincoln arc welder. This stuff was put close to an outside door, and anytime the arc welder is used, it's used with all the doors open for adequate ventilation. We never do any welding on our trucks here. If we ever need anything welded on our trucks, we take them to a certified shop where they're set up to do that and their people are trained to do it. The welder is used for repairing and fabricating equipment to help us around the plant or to help us on a customer site where they're setting a tank or building some sort of oil racks to hold motor oil. The building contains a little bit of everything as far as our maintenance equipment, our shop supplies for maintaining the trucks. We have some lubricant barrels for the different lubricants that we have to maintain in the trucks. Spare wheels, spare tires. Okay, come on over here. This equipment along the wall here is a rigid pipe vise and rigid pipe threading equipment so that we can thread everything up through 2-inch pipe. We do a lot of our own maintenance around the plant. Like I was saying, we were going to be changing those dead man valves over on the liquid loading platform. We'll do that ourselves in-house with our own equipment. So that's what we use, the rigid pipe equipment. Along that wall we also have spare tires and wheels for the tank wagons and transport. Up in that corner we have 3 used dual dispensers for a service station. They're Bennett 5000s, I believe. They're all 3 dual product, and they're there just for storage until we find a buyer for them. We replaced those 3 at our service station when the company still owned the service station on the highway, and so those are leftover dispensers that are for sale. That's pretty well. Storage building. This vacant stall right ahead of us is where the tank trailer and Freightliner tractor sit in storage. To the right you'll notice a fire extinguisher on the wall. These are the 60-pound variety for all types of fires. There's one in every building near the entry door. There's one here in this building, one in the warehouse, one in the shop building we were just in. We also keep another one in the office portion of this building in the event of a fire in the office with any of the computer or office equipment. To the left you'll find a Ford utility tractor with loader and blade. We use this in maintaining the lot and the driveways around the plant here. We've also used it in loading extra heavy materials around when we're cleaning up or moving full barrels into high storage into the tanks or trailers for moving to other accounts. Behind the tractor is a 42-foot Bud van trailer. It's the dry box version. The trailer was bought in 1980 or 81, used. It's pretty much a standard van trailer. Has cross beams under the floor 12 inches apart. 11/22/5 tubeless rubber on it. Here again, we've maintained it ourselves in the way of grease jobs and checking it over for any safety problems. And it's here for any time we want to transport packaged goods inventory into the plant or to other jobbers from here. We pull it with the same Freightliner tractor that we saw earlier in the video under our tank trailer. The wooden portion off to the left is the exterior walls of our office portion of this building. We'll be going in the office shortly and look inside at the offices and the equipment in there. We built this portion of the building in so that we could have the office on site. We used to maintain it in my dad's home when he was still a part owner of the business, but now we have everything on site. We keep all our records in there, and it's handier and more efficient to run the business. We're going to walk back now to the back corner of this storage building and look at just some of the extra storage that we have back there and some of the things in it. For extra tanks, pumps, service station equipment, we also have the forklift tines for the front of the Ford tractor that can be used to slide under a pallet to more easily move pallets around. There's a spare Amoco standard torch and oval sign that we've stored in here, as well as some island lights from service stations and other various leftover equipment waiting to be resold or used in our operation. Off to the left is the main load center for the entire facility. The power comes in on this wall of this building and is piped out to auxiliary power stations. There's one that goes overhead over to the liquid loading platform to run the pumps at the liquid loading, and then from there it goes underground over to the shop building where there's another sub-power box to run the shop equipment and lights over there. All this is done in heavy gauge, and the circuits have been separated so that at no time any of them be overloaded. The office portion is heated with baseboard electric heat. They're all put on separate circuits. The water heater in the bathroom is electric. It's on a separate circuit, as well as the air conditioning and separate wall circuits for all the office equipment and computer, etc. The office and this building, all the buildings for that matter, are completely void of any open flames. Any place we store the tank wagons or tank trailers or any petroleum chemicals or petroleum products of any kind, there are no open flames to guard against any problems from danger of a fire or a spark. A portion of this building is storage for records and for supply materials for the service stations. None of these are essential to day-to-day operations. They're saved just for in the event of an audit for tax or government reasons. Everything is labeled and put up there and protected with plastic on the records. The supply materials are not. It's just a storage area. There's nothing up there essential, nothing expensive. Okay, now we're doing the office portion of this building. We'll be going inside and take a look at the facility in each of the 3 rooms that are in this portion. This is the outer office where the customers come to settle their accounts or transact any business they might have. This is a wooden counter that we use for storage of office supplies, non-essential advertising aids, and that sort of thing. Off to the left here is a lighted DC 111 plain paper copier and cabinet. The cabinet houses non-essential records and copy materials, copy paper, and that sort of thing. Come on down here and take a look at the back of the counter. Behind the counter here are 2 steel desks that were bought used when we came over to the on-site office. The back of the counter houses, like I say, non-essential supplies for the office, day-to-day working. It also houses a safe that we put in every night. We put in all the essential records, the ledgers, the inventory books, a copy of the insurance folder for the entire corporation, all bank records, bank notes. There's also the original ticket file for all sales invoices. It's kept in the safe at all times. In the event that there'd be a fire, all the sales could be reconstructed and documented from the original ticket file, which is in this safe at all times. It could also be reconstructed from the card file that we keep, that's a manual, worked up composite of all ticket sales and account movements through sales and receipts. That's the second source. The third source is on the computer. There's always the same information is on the computer, but before each day's business is finished, that business on the computer is backed up on a separate diskette and kept in a separate place. So any of that information can be reconstructed from 3 different possible sources. We never leave the place at night without locking the safe to maintain safety with the original sales. There's also copies of any of the credit card transactions that are going through the mail, that's documented by copies and kept on the safe until the reimbursement comes back from Amico Oil Company to match up in the event of a loss in the mail. After those copies are paid, they're kept in a file cabinet, but it's just for reconstruction in the event of loss. They've already been through the system and can be documented through the ledgers. This file cabinet keeps non-essential supplies, non-essential records of past business. These are the paid credit card log sheets from each of the service stations. We keep them here for a period of 2 years in different places so that we can go back and check to see if we agree with company records in the event of a credit card chargeback from the company. We keep a group of them here for Skanks Amico down on the highway, and there's another separate group for Dawson Standard in Knoxville. But like I said, these are all non-essential, have really no value except for in-house day-to-day operations in the event of a loss or a chargeback from the company. Okay. Nothing else in here really except the normal 110 volt printing calculators and telephone equipment on the desks. There are 2 desks and chairs and 2 file cabinets, one 2-drawer and one 4-drawer. All this equipment was purchased new except for the desks in the late 70s. This is room number 2 of the office portion of this building. You're looking straight ahead at the computer that we purchased for in-house record keeping and bookwork. It was purchased in October of '89. It's a Packard Bell model. I don't know what the RAM storage is, 640K I believe, with a Citizen wide printer. Purchased from Knox Office Equipment in Galesburg. Like I said, it's about a year old now. This room is just another room for in-house operations and record keeping, company and customer conferences, that sort of thing. This is a non-owned priced printer provided by Amico Oil. It's got a value of about $550 if it were to become lost or broken or stolen. Nothing else here other than desk and file cabinet and chair They were purchased new in about 1980. Cordless telephone over on the other file cabinet. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Nothing in these file cabinets is essential to be needed for reconstruction of any business or anything. Everything that's essential for that is kept in the safe at night. And these cabinets is just extra office supplies and day-to-day supplies for the operations we do here. We have a video library and training tape library and old records here. These are the records of past years. We try to maintain 7 years of business. There are 6 years here, and there's 1 year. The most previous year is in the cabinet in the other room, besides the year that we're working on. This cabinet is just for video storage for training videos and manuals. This cabinet is just for storage of computer materials. That's about it for this room. You can get a shot of the electric baseboard heat that was bought in size for each room. There's one in this room, and we have one in the hallway between the rooms, one in the outer office we were just in, and there's a fourth one in the room we're about to go to. It's just a little storage area. This is the bathroom and storage room for cleaning aids and extra furniture. We have our coffee pot in here, an electric water heater, bathroom facilities, and some more storage for office supplies. Nothing essential is kept in here, no expensive supplies of any kind. This is just day-to-day necessities that you need for cleaning, repairing, gloves, off-season uniforms, that sort of thing. There's an old refrigerator here with little or no value that we use for soda pop and refreshments. It does work, but we've never assigned it back behind that other.
Okay. I may go back behind your desk again from this way.
You might shoot up along the wall there at the air conditioner.
Okay.
That's something we definitely want shown.
I got the back of it from the other, but...
That's a Fetters air conditioner that was put in there when we built this portion in the early 80s.